Welcome to this tutorial of Britix24, a business management system that will help you organize and coordinate your company. The first thing is to search Britix24. Uh, then click Start Free. In my case, I am going to start an account with the college account. And I going to the Britix24. And I'm going to invite the members of the group and make them administrators. And here you enter the email accounts which you will receive the invitation to join. And an additional note, you can change the order of the menus uh, here. And you can change the background and the language.
Now we shall continue with the configuration and adaptation to the necessities of our company. In order to do this, we have to go to Company, and here we can define the structure of our company. In order to do this, the first thing we have to do is invite the users that we want, which would go to employees. That way we would be able to add them afterwards to the groups and the projects and the tasks. But first, in the structure of our company, we would have our main element, which is the company, to which we give a name, which in our case is My Fibra Granada, as we are supposedly a company that installs fiber in this area. We also add a supervisor that would come from the employees that we have already added. Here we choose the company and see all the employees. Afterwards, there are departments that come from the main department, which is the My Fibra Granada. There are three already made by default, but they can be both modified, choosing a supervisor for that one, and the name, or more can be added through here. Selecting a supervisor as well for it, and creating it in the Go, and it would be added instantly. Afterwards, from this ones, we can also do the same by creating more departments that come from it and selecting another supervisor, creating as many as we need in order to create the structure that we want. After having done this, we would be able to go to groups of work where we would be able to create both projects and groups. Through this, we are able to create specific tasks, let's say, or bigger tasks in the name of projects, where we would be able to add a description, a different theme, and an icon. After having done this, we have to choose the privacy we want to set to this project. I would say that the best one is private, so that the access is only through invitation, unless they are projects that would not be want to be seen by anyone, in which case we would choose hidden. Or if we want everyone to be able to see it and access it, it would be public. But I see this as a very hazardous option. After this, we would be able to add the members for it, which in this example would be Diego, David as an owner, for example, myself as a moderator, and then the employees that we want. and then through this, the project would be created. Of course, depending on the projects that the company is going through, we would have to be adding more and more and assigning more people to it. Now, making tasks is also the part that we have to, because it would be the inside parts of each and every project that we would be doing. In that case, we would, for example, saying task, testing task, more or less. There would be a responsible. You can also add created by observers and participants. For example, we would add all three of us. Observers, so they cannot actually participate, but they can see the project. A limited date in which we would have to have finished that task, and then this is important because without this, the time tasking, we would not be able to also check how much people are going through, in the sense of the amount of work they're putting to the task that we have created and given to them. So for example, we would put to start that date, that to start the task then, finish it by then, and it would be for 202 days, for example, a very big task. Then we would add it, and now through this we can also edit it. There are also many other views as to how to see the different tasks and projects we create. For example, here it's been added in this way. We can also have the calendar, in which it would also be shown. Now here we can include also other tasks within the project. There we go. And add another one here, for example. And here, for example, I would be the responsible one, and there would be two participants, no observers, and there wouldn't be a created by shown, but it is possible to add them. And now this task would have been added to the project. Through this, the main structure of the company would have been applied. There's also the possibility of adding marketing and many other parts. This one is also quite interesting because within the inventory, we can also add clients, different products that we're going to be selling, and the main inventory as well can be created. Adding the product, the prices, the quantity and such, and it can always be manipulated depending on what has been in the actual workday. With this part would be set. Now we shall continue with the establishment and verification of secure access to information. There are many ways of establishing security layers, the main one being the account of the user. Now here we would go to our own actual account, and we would have here the security tab. Here we would have to connect the two steps verification in order to create more layers of security. There is also this part here, which is app passwords, which would be used to link all the apps that we want within the actual software as well, and it would generate us a password that we can use directly. For example, if we wanted to use, where was it? The Office, we would get a password that would be added already to the software and would be used by the software specifically in order to link it, which is actually quite useful. Now, in the authentication tab, you can change your password and you're also given the date and time where you last changed it. With this, you can also be looking at it every 15 days or 30 days and change it manually in order to make it more secure. Now, in order to also make more and more layers, especially for the documents, whether we go to Drive or to Documents, when we are creating them, we are also able to assign the permissions that we wish, for example. Now we will make a file, for example, this one that we have taken from our actual computer, which would be then added, and then we can choose to share it. And then we will, for example, send it, allow both Diego and David, because we need to share it with them. And here we can change the permissions completely, which in this case, for example, I would remain with reading. Now, in the work groups and projects, there are also more layers to this. Here we already set permissions as well because there are members of it. But there is another area because when we create both the projects and the groups, we're already saying the employees that can participate in them, and in that way giving them permission, be it to read it or to just be able to access it or be able to actually create parts inside it. Now there is a bigger part of it though, that it's within the company area in time and reports. Go. There we go. Access permissions. In this area, there is a much bigger layer of security in which, for example, you can choose the role. For example, full access to the Britix employees, to the administrators and such. And you can even create roles as well. But these parts are not for the documents. These parts are for administration, I believe. So the main area where you would be actually setting these permissions would be when you're creating the documents, be it in Drive or in the documents, where you can also choose if you want to keep these documents in your personal drive or in the company's drive. Because now, for example, I would be able to create a folder, and then through this one, I would be able to share it as well the way that I wish. I would be able to add the employees that I want to be able to access to it, add to it, edit it, full access, and such. Now we will go to the generation of reports. This entire area is here in CRM in the analytics area, right over here, where when we choose one, we have access to all the other ones. For example, these would be the ones in sales, but since we don't have any data inside, it hasn't created any. It's all doing it based on the data that we have within the system. Here we would have the performance of the employees, here the clients, sales intelligence. In this area here, we would be able to actually create our own reports as well. In this part over here, add report, which would be able to use a template of different types. Here we also have the ones that are related to the inventory, for example, but since there is no data within the system, there are no real values, but it shows that it would be making these reports constantly. And with that, we would be able to see all the reports that we need.
Regarding the integration of Office applications within the document section and unit on your left, you will have the docs, XLS, PPT, or also to upload your documents, and you can do it through several apps and choose the Britix24, Google Docs, Office, and other applications. And in webmail, you can also link it to the application of your choice, such as Gmail, Outlook, iCloud, and other programs, and make configurations. You can add employees to contacts. For this need an SMTP server. This is really useful for managing and sharing documents between users of the organization or company department. When it comes to extracting information for processing in different systems, there is software to make backup copies and I search applications and search backup. In my case, I have already installed and I open and you have just how often you want to make a site backup, and you can configure site backup so that when it is done, it notifies your email or Britix notify. Within the 3M tab, in each of the parts, you can import and export the data. For example, in catalog, um, inside of settings, you can export in Microsoft Excel, or for example, in contacts, you can export CSV, Excel, Outlook, and in companies also.
Hello, my name is Diego, and I'm going to talk about the assistance and incident resolution. You can see at the top of the page, there is a clock. If you click it, you can clock your journal day, and here you can make a report. You can write anything what you want, and then you can save it with this button, and then in the journaling tab, it, that it is, you can see the time bound report. You can see the report of the work, and here there are all the people that is working in that in that company. There are Ricardo and David and me. We are only three. And here you can see all the report that they want to make. And then I'm going to talk about the creation of documents regarding to use the application. Another time in the company section that it is, we have to go another time to the times and report, and here you click on times of work, and there will be the three one that it is the Diego, David, and Ricardo, and you can check here all the time, the journal day. I I put an example. I put it that it seemed that I was working 26 minutes, and here this part this allows you to have efficient control and tracking of your tasks and projects. After spending time working with Britix24, we can say that it's cute and useful tool. It has allowed us to manage and coordinate our tasks efficiently. The ability to generate reports, establish secure access to information, and resolve issues has been greatly helpful. Also, it might seem a bit overwhelming at first due to all the features and options available. Once, once you get the hang of it, it becomes an integral part of daily management. Indeed, indeed, Britix24 has proved to be a valuable tool for our team. Thanks you for your attention.